if there'd been an electrical fault somewhere,
Yeah.
it would have blew up. It would, oh no.
And at the age of 60, you joined the Royal Navy.
100 foot of water, no visibility, and everything was done in darkness. They wanted rid of it.
Blew it to halves.
Blew it to half, yeah. First time I worked with George Craig, I didn't realise it. Yeah. So we welded a new plate on, but it only lasted to Gibraltar. We didn't know how dangerous it was until they told us later. Like. And he was carried off in a helicopter because it was full of mines, full of torpedoes, full of ammunition. It just had to be lifted.
You did some training in the recovery of lost submarines. Was this a tried and tested process, or were you pioneers in this?
It was done every year, what you call submiss. It was done every year.
Were your team pioneers in this, or were you following?
No, we brought divers from all over the country to do it.
Yeah.
As training, as a part of training.
So, who had gone before you doing this?
Who did it before us?
Yeah.
Well, the wartime was the first time they did it. And after that, it was all what you call submiss. Exercise all the time after that. The siding in the channel, the truculent, these sort of submarines were all
that was
real life.
In Portsmouth Harbour, was it that one?
The siding was off in the English Channel. Truculent was in Liverpool Bay, and because of that, this was started the submiss. That's why we had to do it.
Yeah.
And we practice it every year.
You never had to do it for
never on nuclear submarines. Always on S class or T class. You know.
Old scrapyard ones.
Scrapyard. Yeah. Funny enough, the brass went missing on most of these as well.
It does. It corrodes the sort of water, I've heard.
It disappeared completely. Yeah.
And did you train as a team, your normal team, or did you take turns and go to do the training?
No, like I said, the divers are always brought in from Pompey, Plymouth, to do these exercises.
Yeah, but you had your team, didn't you?
I had my own team,
yeah. And did you all train together on this?
Yes, yeah.
Had any of your team done this before?
Some of them were baby divers, no. Some of them were just new to it, yeah.
So in the end, how do you lift a submarine?
With lifting craft. Again, tidal. Lifted with tidal. And on air. 2 lifting craft each side. LCs they call it, LC20, LC21. Wires underneath the submarine. Tidal lift into the shore. Tidal lift into the shore. Close all the hatches. There are high and lows in a submarine, right? You put the pipes on, start blowing the tanks out, and up she came.
And there was 2 occasions that you actually had to lift a submarine. The Sante Fe?
Sante Fe, yes, yeah. In Great Vicken, South Georgia, yeah.
There's the Argentinian sub, sank during the Falkland War.
Yeah.
There's South Georgia,
yeah.
Where were you during the Falklands War?
We were ready to go out there after the war, 1982, after the war.
So you must have been sat at home or in your office, wherever it was, watching these ships being sunk.
Yep.
Thinking, right. I wonder if I'll have to deal with that one.
Yep, definitely, yeah.
When did you first learn that you were going to be called to go out there to lift the Sante Fe?
DMS Bath gave our salvage officer a memo to pick a team to go out there, and we picked our team, and out we went, and we done the job.
So you sat at home, got the phone call, or was it a telegram?
No, just he actually was in our base, so our boss came and told us he wanted a team to go, and he says, you volunteer? Yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
You're all volunteers for every job?
Yep, every job.
Has anyone ever refused, saying no, that's too dangerous?
Not really, no.
Not like people...
Divers never refuse, there's money in it, never refuse.
Not like people aboard here have to go up in the Monkey Island in 4 metre seas.
Yeah. Too windy, mate.
Yeah, too windy.
Too windy, mate. Yeah,
too windy, force 4.
Too windy, mate.
Honestly. Right.
Get my hair all up.
Where she sunk, or where she was sunk, the Sante Fe, it's one of the most remote parts of the world, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So why did you have to move it?
Because it was full of mines, full of torpedoes, full of ammunition. It just had to be lifted. So we dragged it into the main anchorage in Great Britain, and it sunk again. So a team went out after again and lifted it again, so it sunk twice. But I didn't go at the second time. I had enough.
So you'd had training in submarine recovery before this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what these training exercises were for these submarines. Because you knew what you were going to do, you know.
Any nice souvenirs? Any war souvenirs?
Yeah, we got a lot of money off it, which I thought was a lot of money. $1 million pesetas or whatever it was. Like, it was only worth.
You were a millionaire then?
It was only worth 76.
You recovered the first tornado ever made, the prototype tornado.
That's right. Liverpool Bay.
That was Liverpool Bay.
180 foot of water, yes.
So that wasn't your record-breaking dive on that one?
Well, it was. We didn't have much time at the bottom. We had about 10 minutes there. We had a lot of stops on the way up. So
that's when you got this dispensation from the Admiralty, was it?
Not that one. No, not
that was
one.
another one.
No, that's another one.
Which one was that then?
That was a tornado jet off Dundee.
And how deep was that water?
That was 67 metres.
And up until then, what was your previous?
Our previous depth was 50 metres. That was our limit at that time.
So they didn't actually give you any better diving equipment?
No, we used the H3.
Yeah. Was that the first time you'd used that?
Yep, that was the first time.
And that's why you had permission to go to a deeper depth?
That's right. Good gear, yeah.
And a record-breaking dive?
Yeah, for us it was anyway, yeah.
And that's when you could only spend how long on the bottom?
Not very long, but another 10 minutes, and the stops was horrendous, you know, on the way up. But in the end, we did what you call dry stops. We just came up quick into the chamber, close off, and put down to a depth again, and then did the stops from there.
So you were working from a decompression chamber?
Yep.
How long were you decompressing?
That's what you call dry stops.
Sorry?
That's what you call dry stops.
Okay. How long do you compress for, then decompress?
We would start at 9 metres for about, I don't know, it's tables, 9, 6 and 3, and then your circles. If you spend 15 minutes down there, you had a lot of decompression time.
The longer you spend down there, the more time you've got to decompress.
Yep.
The Jaguar fighter that you recovered from Denmark.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
That was, that was Salmaster again. No, sorry, Gusander. It's a Gusander. That lifted that one. He was in formation with his team. There's 4 aircraft. They went up the way. He misread his instruments and he went down the way and lost his life. We picked him up in all bits and pieces. And
it was in quite shallow water, wasn't it?
It was on about. Our ship was nearly on the rock, so it was only about 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 metres, yeah. And our ship drew about 8 metres. No.
Close then.
Yeah.
Did you have to work high tide for that one?
No, not at all. No.
Another one of yours was HMS Reward. Originally commissioned as a rescue tug during the Second World War. She had quite an active career as a naval patrol ship and had quarters and support for the Scotland and Northern Ireland Explosive Ordnance Demolition Team, which responded to an alleged plant by a terrorist group on the Phillips gas rig off the Yarmouth. In 1976 she was headed up the River Forth when she was rammed and sunk by the German merchant ship Plainsman.
That's correct.
Yeah. The recovery of this vessel did not go without incident either, as one of your team thought it suffered the wrath of God when £400 was thought to have gone missing.
Yeah, in the alleyways.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, this Matla was accusing all the divers of pinching his £400, which was floating up and down, in the end, up and down the alleyway, in a cigarette box, a cigarette tin. And it was found later on, full of apologies of course, but young Alec Brady, we were standing on the deck with all the divers together, and he said, "May the wrath of God strike me down dead, it wasn't me," and the door flipped up with a wire which was getting held on held on to the Brunel. It whipped up and took him with it, and he was carried off in a helicopter and off to Emmanuel Hospital. So
He was okay.
he was okay. Well, he's okay, but when the winchman came down, he had a wee bit of a giggle because we put Alec in the wrong way around in the Robinson stretcher. He was the wrong way around, but he didn't change it. He just,
Well, I've seen that happen a few times.
yeah. So I lifted him away, and he's to this day he's okay. Yeah, he's okay.
What are the circumstances around the ramming and the sinking?
What, the sinking of the what?
Yeah. When it was rammed by the
Plainsman.
yeah.
Well, the state.
Because these things don't happen easily, do they?
No.
How does one ship hit another ship square on,
Yeah.
as we'll see from the photos?
Right in the engine room.
Yeah.
The chap was in the shower, and it just missed him by inches. It was just, the engine room was there, and the shower unit was there. He was actually in the shower at the time, and this barrow came steaming through. They stayed together until everybody was off, and when they pulled away, she automatically or immediately sunk.
How long after were you called in to deal with it?
About 2 days later, we started preparing for our lift, bringing in our salvage ship, Salmaster.
Was it a straightforward lift?
In the end, it was after we rigged the wires underneath. Yeah, it was a straightforward lift with the Brunel. Yeah, but then as we lifted it, the hook fell off. One of the wires fell off the big hook, so we had to go down and put it on again. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. 100 foot of water, no visibility, and everything was done in darkness.
This is the Firth of Forth,
Yeah.
so quite a busy shipping lane as well.
Yeah, it was blocked for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
We lifted the first Harrier jump jet off Grimsby, believe it or not. And at that time, a flock of birds had gone into the intakes, and down she went. It was only about 20 foot of water. But when we got it back to the shore establishment to do their checks, they found that's what's wrong. Now there's a grid or something else stops it from sucking in birds now. A grill or some damn thing. But that's what it was, wide open in those days.
Yeah.
Straight in and down she went.
And the pilot?
Pilot, never lived now.
No.
Picked the pilot up, transferred him ashore. You know, if there'd been an electrical fault somewhere,
Yeah.
it would have blew up. It would, oh no.
And at the age of 60, you joined the Royal Navy.
100 foot of water, no visibility, and everything was done in darkness. They wanted rid of it.
Blew it in two halves.
Blew it in two halves, yeah. First time I worked with George Craig, I didn't realise it. Yeah. So we welded a new plate on, but it only lasted till Gibraltar. We didn't know how dangerous it was until they told us later, like. And he was carried off in a helicopter because it was full of mines, full of torpedoes, full of ammunition. It just had to be lifted.